You are first, salty PDX. What's up, Pineapple? H. Jordan, Tiger Chick. Welcome, everybody. Bolobo in the house. Good to see you, man. Hello, Pineapples. Okay, welcome to Simulation Talk 93. Joel's and anybody who just joined us on X and YouTube and Twitch, and of course TikTok. Welcome, everybody. How you doing, brother? Arrow. Per usual, we're gonna wait just 1 minute. And just like yesterday, we'll find my lip balm. The lips are dry, ladies and gentlemen. Alas, I have no idea where it is. Today it's truly gone. The business. Wow, I haven't seen you here in a long time, man. So good to see you. Peace and love indeed, Spencer. The Programming 2024 says, hi, just made a video yesterday. My iPad nearly got burned. What do you mean? You're cracking the code. Video about this? Let's see if I can still remember how to read Russian properly. Программист is San Francisco. Programmist is San Francisco, meaning the programmer from San Francisco. Welcome. He says, what simulation news we have for today? Well, programmist is San Francisco. I don't know. Let's find out. Are you a programmer from San Francisco? It is a pretty background. It's not my background, but it is pretty. I like it. I can read Russian, yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I was born in Moscow. Adding you to the live. Sure. I'll add you in one moment, brother. Also, if you want to give me a specific topic of what you want to talk about, and we'll jump right into it. Let me do the intro also first. Dan is awesome. Well, who am I to disagree with that? Thank you, Alan. Ava is saying, did you know that oh, dude, my brain is fun sometimes. Andrew Gallimore is not working in Okinawa anymore. He is a freelancer now in Tokyo. Yeah, it has been the case for a while now. When I met him last year in Tokyo, or right outside of Tokyo, that was already the case. I don't know if he was vocal about it, but that was, yeah, I did know that. I think about what you do. I think about what you are doing on a daily basis now. I may need to experience it. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Suzanne. We can just talk about travel. I always wanted to travel the world. Tell me some memories. So all right, so let me do the intro first, and then you'll decide if this is a good fit of that conversation, because it sounds like a little bit off topic of what we're doing here, but you let me know. So welcome, everybody. This is Simulation Talk 93. Usually this channel revolves around the simulation hypothesis. My name is Danny, and I'm claiming to have found actual proof that we live in a simulation. We meet here. A few years ago, I discovered that if you project a diffracted laser on the surface and you ingest a particular molecule that I cannot really name on a live chat, you will see code running in surfaces. This observation has now been substantiated over 1,000 times worldwide, and it has connected me with some of the leading researchers in the field. It does not mean that all of them agree with me in my conclusions. However, this is an ongoing conversation, and we're going to keep having it. We meet here every single day to discuss the discovery, the implications. Thank you so much, Bobo. As well as science in general, religion, spirituality, philosophy, God, and whatever comes to mind. I don't mind discussing travel, actually. The only thing is, because these days I'm always doing, as you notice, the hour is very late. I'm starting the chats pretty late because I have a very busy day shooting. And because of that, I don't have a lot of energy. So I have to use my energy wisely. So I think this might be a little bit off topic at the moment, but I'm not against talking about that in general. So maybe we can have this chat another day. I'm not against that. I don't have enough gravitas and energy to carry a conversation about something that is a little bit off topic of what we're doing here. I hope you understand. But again, if you do come back in a day, I'm here every day, in which you see me all rosy cheeked and full of purpose, then we can definitely have that discussion as well and drift into. I'm not back you down. We're talking about the simulation hypothesis, brother. This is not a random chat. I appreciate you though. If you have something on the subject to say, that's great. But also, again, I'm a little bit low on energy, so it's hard for me to carry a conversation about a topic that might not exactly revolve around what we're doing about. People come here every day to hear stuff about that. Travel is a great topic. Again, I'm not against it, just not today. Did you know that one of the participants in the molecule study in Imperial College has written a book about this experience? Yes, I have. His name is Alex Boehner, and he was also on my podcast. You can actually go, you're on YouTube right now, right? So if you go scroll down through my conversations, you should see a conversation with Alex Boehner. Alex is a phenomenal writer. He actually surprised me because he's relatively young and is a very wise guy, but not like, not like a wise guy, but he's a wise person, and I really enjoyed his book. Highly recommend the book. He also narrates it himself if you want the audiobook on Audible. So yeah, also I haven't done that, Ava. Sorry. Simulation of what? Well, we have a comment from Twitch, and I'm very happy about that. What's up? Mazza Sticks. Okay, so maybe we should outline it a little bit for all the newcomers. So essentially, I discovered a few years ago that if you project a diffracted laser, which just means kind of like the same lasers that you use in the supermarket to the thing that screens the barcode, if you project that on the surface and you ingest a particular molecule that I cannot really name here because of legal purposes, you can just Google the spirit molecule, you will see code running in surfaces. And this is true across the board for everybody at all times. It never changes, which provides an ability to interact with a portion of the space that seems to be on its own side and does not. I like this leaf. And it seems to be across the board the same. And my claim is that coupled with a few other data points to us living in an actual computational environment. Simulation of what? That's actually a really good question. I think the simulation is of a process that happens in different ways across all of existence that has to do with what conscious beings are doing when they find themselves in different kinds of circumstances. That's a great question, though. I think that's what the simulation is of. There were several participants have had interviews on their experience. So Alex Boehner is the person who wrote the book, though. You see real numbers and words. You see, weirdly enough, you see characters just like in the movie The Matrix. So very close to Japanese katakana, and also what seems to be like Hebrew letters and regular numbers from 0 to 5. These are all approximations. It's not exactly like that, but these are the closest things that I can point to that kind of look like that. And continuation question from Twitch is, what's the difference between simulation and non-simulation? Quick question. Once again, a wonderful question. Peter Rollins, who's a good philosopher friend of mine, pointed out to me that he thinks that the better word would be simulacrum. which basically means simulation without a base. So it's not simulating anything, it's just computationally or uh, is given rise by some prior condition, and that simulates some kind of an environment, but it's not simulating anything in particular, it's an original thing. I think that the real difference between these words is kind of like splitting hairs, and it only matters in a very thin sliver of circumstantial situations. So a very, very thin sliver of circumstances. You guys will excuse me, my brain is a little bit out of it at these hours. But I think the word simulation is something that people are more familiar with, and it makes it easier to slide into the conversation and make these distinctions. So that's why I'm using the word. But I think it is the correct word because it's the closest to what we mean by what in fact is going on. The deeper proposition is not that we live inside of a computer software, but that the world at large is computational. And that is an important question and definition, but essentially what computation is from a technical standpoint, the way that Turing described it. Of course, computation was outlined before Turing, but Turing essentially discovered the universality of computation, the fact that it's a universal thing, and you can compute basically as long as you have something called Turing complete, a computer that is Turing complete, you can technically simulate anything that is possible. And that is what's called the universality of computation, which implies that you can actually create worlds on top of worlds on top of worlds. But the claim is that this function, the fact that it's possible, it means that the world at bottom is computational. This idea is not new. What I'm claiming, however, is that I found a way to, at least one way to gauge whether or not that claim in fact is true. I hope this was clear enough. Nomad is saying, what are your thoughts regarding the fractals? Do you think that they can play any role in this deciphering any aspects of the computational reality and based on your incursions? Super short answer, yes. And I've seen that everything unfolds according to the Mandelbrot set. The self-repetition of fractals lends itself really nicely to allow worlds to evolve through an infinite possibility space, and yet diverge in ways that are unpredictable through fungibility. So essentially, just like you have this game that you guys would probably know, especially people on Twitch. I don't remember right now, but it's that game that basically has millions of possibilities of worlds, and they don't necessarily exist until somebody tries to play them. And I would say that reality behaves in a very similar way. Are they present in higher realms? Present? Interesting. Okay, interesting. Do you believe it's a way of saying the book of life, all is written in it? Yes. Yes. Yes, I would say that is the case. How are you, Nathan? Hey, just heads up, you shouldn't have your 6 months old watching TikTok. So either leave the chat or don't leave stupid comments like that. Do you feel consciousness is pretty much technology? Yeah, well, depending on how you want to use the word. The thing is, uh, consciousness, I think, is the fundamental thing that makes up everything. I am, at this point, more of an idealist than anything else. I do think that consciousness is actually the most fundamental thing. I don't know if that necessarily answers your question. And I would say, yeah, Akashic Records definitely fit the bill. Of what this is. Hello, fungi. Good to see you. Chavez is saying if more than one person is looking at a certain area of the code, can every person see the same code? Yes. Or does it slightly vary? No. I'm claiming that everybody sees the exact same code. So does that make us AI? I would say yes. We are AGI. I'm in a spiritual awakening, if you can't tell. That's amazing. That always makes me happy to see that people are going through that. Sabrina is saying, sorry, I missed earlier and will need to catch up, but I was wondering if what you described to see if it's similar to the secret writing art that Alison Gray created. Great question. The answer is very simple. No, it does not look like the Alison Gray characters. And that's actually a very important distinction because people claim to see all kinds of things in that space, which makes me understand that there's more than one kind of things that we can be interacting with there, which would make sense. Thank you for the likes, guys. I appreciate you. And it looks a lot more like Japanese katakana mixed with some Hebrew letters and some numbers. In the famous Bill Hicks sketch, yeah, I know exactly which one you're talking about, that ends with, here's Tom with the weather. Can we now change it to, here's Dan with the weather? Wait, but I'm the guy who's telling you that everything that Bill Hicks is saying. So it wouldn't make sense, but I see what you're saying. And I like the Bill Hicks reference. So you get extra brownie points because Bill Hicks was one of my favorites. Thank you. I didn't feel it was, but wanted a clarification. You got it. Um. Oh no, you cut out. I didn't hear you. Well, it's okay. I'm here now. You hear me now, right? Do you think consciousness arises as a side effect from the processing of information? That's something that a lot of physicists think, including Max Tegmark. I think consciousness is fundamental. I don't think consciousness is an arising property. I think everything else is. Hi, can laser beam be widened to cover bigger areas of the surface to code? Yeah, working on ways to do that even with one laser. Yeah, Higgs is the best. Hebrew also uses symbol to tell a story versus being no a word or a letter. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Madeline. Can you clarify? Quick. Oh, quick. I don't know what you want to call it, advertising or to all the people across the platforms. Uh, I am currently working on a documentary about the subject with the incredible director Aaron Vanden. We are in the crowdfunding phase for this part of the production. So anybody who's interested and wants to see more of the film faster and you can contribute, by all means, please go to either follow the link in the GoFundMe link in the video on YouTube or on TikTok. You can find that link in the link tree in my profile. So that was just a one moment of that. And like I'm gonna say in every live, I also started offering a membership plan on YouTube, which, if I have to be absolutely honest, I'm just starting, so I don't really know what I'm doing. But I promise that I will learn quickly, and I will make sure that people who sign up will get the benefit of what they're paying for. I'm gonna make sure that it's worth your while. So if you feel inclined, please sign up. It will help me do this more and more full time, and I appreciate you all regardless. I'm very excited to share the film and other content that I'm working on, and that's going to be available to the wider public. And obviously, people with memberships and certain contributions on GoFundMe will have extra access to stuff that I'm going to be putting out for my personal life, as well as in direct interaction with me, both on personal live chats and on Zoom as well. So I think that's all we need to say for now, and let's see what other comments we have. There's a world that exists outside of the simulation that you can tap into. Simulation is an illusion. It's the real world. So the proposition, your little sister, is that there is no such thing as base reality, and everything is computational. Ultimately, what simulation means in that context is essentially a parallel world or a slice of reality. So there is no so much real world, not real world. And simulation, by the way, does not mean not real. It does not mean fake. I would say that the one thing that cannot possibly be an illusion is your conscious moment. Doesn't matter how it happens. I'm going to say it again. The one thing that cannot possibly be an illusion, so it's exactly backwards, is your conscious moment right now. So it doesn't matter how it happens. It doesn't matter if you're some kind of a miracle that happened for a picosecond in infinity, and then you're going to just, with all your memories and all your feelings and everything in this instance and the next instance, you're gone. Or if you're simulated inside of a computer software, or if the laws of physics give rise to what you're experiencing right now, the bottom line is this is real. And nothing else can be more real than this. As long as you're experiencing something, that is the real thing. And I don't see how you can logically, not you personally, but anybody can logically make any other thing that would make more sense than that. But what do you think about the reptilian theory on the simulation? Don't know anything about it. What's up, Jose? Good to see you. You got it, you little sister. Do you have a Discord for extended chatting on topics? Yes, I do. If you email me, I will send you the link to join the Discord. The email is lasersimulationx@gmail.com. Once again, it's lasersimulationx@gmail.com. Can't really read your handle, but so you can. You guys, by the way, this is an important message. So you guys, I see that sometimes people DM me, and I have a long list of people who DM me, and I rarely check. It's just less convenient for me because all my social media platforms don't have any notifications on, because otherwise I'm going to lose my mind. So actually the fastest way to get my attention is email, lasersimulationx@gmail.com. And please, if you don't mind, in the last week I've been very busy, so it takes me a little longer to respond to emails. But the ones that are really real quick and well formulated, it's easier for me to respond quickly, and I respond to a lot of those. So if you want to be both considerate, and also it's a good practice to try and arrange your own thoughts, instead of writing a whole story about all kinds of things, and which might be interesting, but if you have to go through 1,000 emails, then it becomes very difficult to read through the whole thing and give it the full attention that it deserves. So take the time, formulate something paragraph long, get my attention with it. I'll respond to it. I respond to all my emails in the end, and we can have a conversation. And I know that the tendency is you just want to share, and I know it comes from a good place, but just a little bit of extra work, and I'll be able to respond to your email quicker. Just so I have organize your thoughts, put it in a paragraph, and we should be good to go. Do I believe in Jesus? That's a great question. I don't think it's a matter of belief for me. I just saw it, but if I have to be honest, before that, no, I didn't think there was any merit to the story. And now I know for a fact that there is, just because I saw it in the space. And as much as you take anything what you call real seriously, that's as much as I take that seriously. However, it has a larger picture implication, and I think that most Christians would not be comfortable with that. That's my short answer. You wonder what's my Q because I'm so smart. I have no idea. The last time I measured it was maybe 20 years ago. I'm alright, but I'm pretty sure that it drops over time. Does it go up over time? I have no idea. See, somebody with a higher IQ would know. Can I share the implications of Jesus? No, I think getting too deeply into it will take us a little bit too far afield. All I can say is that, and I think it should go without saying, and I think it should be obvious to everybody, even with people who don't believe in anything religious. I think living the best and most ethical life you possibly can is always a good idea, no matter what. And I think that should go without saying. So that's all I can say about that. Also, Deep Programming 2024. I always appreciate good links, but it doesn't allow for hyperlinks, or you're just dropping your live. I mean, by all means, but it doesn't allow for hyperlinks here, so maybe that's why. Have you used ChatGPT to speak about your discovery yet? What do you mean by that, the business? Oh yeah, and if you guys don't mind liking the streams, thank you for the reminder, Chavez. Both on TikTok and on YouTube and Twitch and X, it helps a lot to the algorithms. Thank you guys. Have you been interacting with the control panel on the molecule recently? If so, please tell us more about it. Thank you for the question. Ryusei Konastra, right? I've been shooting a documentary in the last 2 weeks, so I've been extremely busy, and I didn't have time to do any of that stuff. But I'll definitely be reporting, and I'm working like I keep saying I'm working on the next video of the console, and there's gonna be a lot of fun graphics in there. So definitely will be worth the wait. But thank you for the question. In-depth descriptions of the realms and entities you've seen would absolutely be worth the subscription. In-depth descriptions. Okay, thank you. That's a great thing to know. In-depth descriptions. Let me actually write it down. I'm making a list of all the things that people say that they think will be valuable. Oh man. Okay. It's getting messy here. Yes, worship. Apologies. In-depth descriptions of the entities and molecule space. Okay, thank you. I will take this into account. Super helpful. There should be a discussion forum with people sharing what they've seen and all. Yeah, that's actually also coming. Irv, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly right now. The guy who's a good friend and also is responsible for making these wonderful lasers that people are ordering. He also made a whole questionnaire that's going to be available on the website very soon, and we might even create a little hub where you can upload a video if you feel like you want to do that. So that's definitely coming. Once again, great comment. I appreciate you, and thank you for the likes. Be water, my friend. Yes, I love the shirt. One of my favorites. Thank you so much for noticing. B is saying, know with binaural beats you can tune your pineal gland in different frequencies and world. C Monroe Institute. Thank you for that. Yeah, I'm familiar with the Monroe Institute. Yeah, I'm familiar with all of that. Do you think sentient AI exists? We don't create it, but unlock it since it's part of the simulation. There's a video both on TikTok and on YouTube called "Are We AGI?" Check it out. It's actually I think the intro video for my YouTube channel. So I'm talking about the idea that we might be the AGI that we think about. So I'm all on board. It's just that we are it, I think. And Decor is saying, if I understand you right, you assume that everyone around you is an NPC, but also has a main universe bubble where he is. Yes, the answer is yes, Andy. You got it exactly right. I believe that's one possibility, of course, but it makes sense to me because it will be the safest system possible. Scott Linder saying, can you tell us more about the couple people who saw the code without the molecule? I mean, that's all I can say with any amount of certainty, that they just saw it without the molecule. And I do think that it has to do with something in the way they're wired. They're probably a little bit more sensitive to that space, which is interesting because that means that we do have access. It's just that we have to dial ourselves in, which isn't that surprising, to be honest. AI exists. It is an egregore created by a soul group. I think that's a little bit outside of my wheelhouse, or it's a little bit too general. I'm not sure how to place this. LP is saying, have you spoken to Chase? Yeah, I have. From his X account. Oh yeah. I didn't know that he posted on X. He contacted me. What a great guy. Or at least that's my impression so far. Yeah, I have spoken to him. Thank you for asking, LP. Oh, I see. No, but I understood what you wanted, Andy. How do aliens play into this theory? Well, I guess the aliens would be what you would call multidimensional because they come from different parts of the simulated space, and that would be equivalent to a different dimension. Advanced quantum AI computers in the near future will be capable of generating their own universe, and those within create AI. We don't know what the base reality would be. Yeah, I'm claiming there is no base reality. I would love to dial in without a molecule. Yeah, that would be great. Shaoliner or Shaoliner. Hi, would it be possible to set up mirrors in form of golden ratio and direct the laser beams through that? I'd love to know the results. Yeah, I mean, all of these things about arrangements and shapes and frequencies and all of these beautiful things, it's something that will require meticulous experimental you know, arrangement, and it requires time and money. So it will be coming. And also, I think it's important to mention that if anybody is trying to play with like mirrors and stuff, please be super careful because it's lasers. You know, the laser gets back from the mirror and hits your eye. That's not good news. What about Twitter? Galactic Screen or X? Oh, and I see Misty already emailed me about the Discord group. You got it. I'll send you a link. Do you picture your discovery? Any video of what you see? Yes, working with a VR expert to recreate something that will be much more tangible and closer in behavior, movement, and the way it appears. Thank you for the question. You might already answer this question, but when you do documentary, when does the documentary come out? Depending on the budget, if the crowdfunding works well and we get a good enough budget, then we can focus on it full time. I don't know what happened to my voice there, but we can focus on it full time and then we can finish it probably within 4 months. If not, it'll just take a little longer, but we'll definitely finish it regardless. So I would say between 4 to 8 months, about. Good morning. Do you think we're in a computer simulation? I think we're in a computational environment. The computer part is already the instantiation of the way it appears in the three-dimensional space. I know this is something that probably needs more exposition, but at the moment, that's all the energy I have. Robert Sheldrake theory, morphic resonance. I saw the code around the same time you mentioned it. Interesting. I would love to know more about that. If you want to email me to lasersimulationx@gmail.com, I would love to hear about it. Lasersimulationx@gmail.com. I think this is life. Wait, I think this life is about consciousness and developing the beyond our bodies. Maybe. I mean, I'm familiar with the meme, but for me, it's a maybe. Have you managed to decode console any further? Not yet. No. Thank you for the questions. These are great questions. Lavi Weda? Or Ewala? I don't know how to pronounce it. Sorry. Do you think we're individually mentally projecting reality into the simulation? If I understand your comment correctly, then yes. What's the latest progress in clinical testing? We have none of this is happening yet, unfortunately, but I know it will happen at some point. Thank you, little sister. Posted. Do you have a Discord for extended chatting on topics? Like I said, or maybe you were the one that already emailed me. Just email me to lasersimulationx@gmail.com. Don't forget the X. Lasersimulationx@gmail.com, and I'll send you a Discord link. Like spoke it directly about your claims. Oh yeah, the business. I did speak to ChatGPT. I don't remember what the reactions were at the moment. Do you have anything to say about premonitory dreams that play out in reality? Well, I would say, yeah. I mean, I would say that if we live in a computational environment, these are pretty straightforward. You're just picking up on information before it instantiates itself in physical, in what the actual computational process. Um, that would be my thoughts. Unless you have a more specific questions around it. You look my teacher with Scarface. That's funny. Can you speak on people telepathically communicating with other people on the planet consistently? I can't speak about that because I'm not aware of that. I know people make all these claims. I'm just not aware of it at the moment. I think the idea of people being NPCs diminishes other human beings as not valuable. So I'm not sure if you understood the full comment before, or maybe was that you that no, somebody on YouTube made a comment. So the idea isn't that other people are all NPCs, is that the people actually exist, but in your perception of these people, they are projections. That is, it's designed this way, so if anybody at any moment decides to start hurting a lot of people, they can't because there's no one actually there, it's only them. However, and this is an important however, the overarching system is aware of what these people really are in their own environments, and it kind of feeds the full system with the information as to what these people would do if they would be in a situation X or situation Y. So if you find yourself with these people in situation X, the system will know that these people would probably do whatever that is, and it would inform the the NPC in your environment that is a reflection and representation of that other real person. And so you would get the real reaction and the real interaction with what that person would actually be. Hold on. But they would not be the real person. This way, it's completely safe. Does that make sense? And I agree with you that overall, by assuming that everybody are NPCs, it does degrade people. But this is a little different. Every day, all the time, what? Your little sister. Oh, I see. Yeah. So is that something that you do? Telepathically talk to people? Have you managed to decode console any further? Oh, we saw this comment. Hold on. Why in the comments, like some comments, this, what do I feel about solipsism? So at least the way that I understand it, with solipsism, the problem is that the assumption is that it's not that there's only one consciousness, is that the consciousness you specifically have right now is the only thing. That is a very parochial perception, right? Because you're saying this thing that I have right now, in the way that it is, it's the only thing that exists. And that doesn't make a lot of sense because obviously other things exist, right? Or at least there's some regularities that happen. But the idea that there's only one conscious agent, not the way you feel yourself to be, but as a whole, like one observer, that is split to many, many, many different points of view, which is more of an idealistic point of view, so idealism, that makes a lot more sense. But the mistake that solipsism makes is that you, with your personality and everything else that you feel yourself to be, is the only thing that exists. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Yes, but I don't know how to explain it accurately. They seem too real to be hallucinations. No, I believe you. And I just want to make it super clear that if I feel a little resigned, it's only because I'm truly tired, but not because I'm this, I'm not degrading for a second your claim or what you're saying. I think it's probably true. I don't think it's a hallucination. I do know that we're going through a very major shift, and part of it is what people call the spiritual awakening of our understanding of a bigger picture. With my laser, without my laser, it doesn't matter. People will start to understand more and more. And I think what you're experiencing is basically an elevated level of what's possible as a conscious agent. So I absolutely think that it's real. How you doing tonight other than being tired, bro? Doing great. Thank you. Let's see. I took 3, 4 hits and closed my eyes. Do you think what we are seeing is on the physical object or containing in the light? No, I think it's in the physical object. Because when you move the light, it's not actually moving with the light. It's just kind of being replaced. Now, in holography, you can see a similar effect even when you move the light. Actually, wait. No, I think it's in the physical object. Because when you move the light, it's not actually moving. And even in holography, you still need the light to be stationary. What do you think? Lauman's comment on your recent? I'm not sure what that means, sorry. B saying if you want the molecule world, the astral world, check please George Cavasilas about the synthetic universe. This is for the big picture. Then you just discovered the synthetic overlay we are in. I was very suspicious of like specific claims about these things because I understand how big this space is to some degree, and I think people who think that they understand these level of specificities, to me, it's always suspect. Doesn't mean that it's impossible. I'm just saying the chances are higher for me that they're confused than that they're actually interacting with real information. But let me see. George Cavasilas. Let's see. What pops up is Instagram and book. Not sure. Well, if our paths will cross, then I guess it was meant to be. But I hope you understand what I'm saying, B. It's like kind of like, and I spoke about it the other day about Bashar, for example. The same goes for what's that guy's name? Matthias something. Somebody give me his last name here. He goes a lot on all kinds of podcasts and talks about how he remembers, all his past lives, and then he starts talking about different dimensions and his guides from the 6 dimensions versus his guides on the 7th dimensions, and I'm like, come on. How do you know they're from the 6th dimension versus these they're from the 7th dimension? And then saying it with so much, confidence. I just, again, I'm interacting with these spaces enough to know that the truth about when you are in the presence of that, it's so out there. It's so out there that to use the word dimensions doesn't even start doing it justice. So I'm having a very hard time with people that are claiming such specificities about these things. Have you found an advancement in what you're able to access with practice? Not sure what you're referring to, JH. Took Wyoming groan saying, I took 3 to 4 hits and closed my eyes, then I rotated my head like I was looking around. Wait. The broom. The things I saw changed like they would if my eyes were open. Has anyone else experienced this? Yeah, I think you're basically looking at a real space. Why do you think we are currently observing this specific technology ascension? I mean, the why is a difficult question. I think it's the natural course of things, and we're in it. You think someone controls the simulation? No. I think it's an open-ended simulation. Matthias Di Stefano, yes, thank you. So I'm sure that some of you are familiar. Susan Mo, obviously you're familiar. But that's my thing. Like he's just like with Bashar, seems like a super nice guy, and I do mean that. Like looks like a super swell person, fun to hang around with. Very the demeanor is very pleasant, and then all these claims. I don't know. I it's possible, but in my mind, the chances that there's a real understanding of what, like, this level of granularity with this stuff, I don't know. It just, I'm not buying it. You control it in the sense that it's you in control of what you do and what you do experience. Okay. To what effect are you saying this, Chavez? Or are you referring to something else before? Uh, let's see what we have on TikTok. How can you interact with it? Is there a virtual keyboard somewhere? That would be cool. You gave me an insight. I think this community is part of a need each other at this times. Someone else. Yeah, that's a beautiful way of thinking about it. I really love this community. What country am I in? Right now in Mexico. What about Atlantis, Lovey? Any thoughts on Abraham Hicks? I have the same thought about all channelers. I'm highly suspicious of it. Not in the sense that they're just making it up. It's just that I think that what the real thing is something that I'll go more in depth about it tomorrow, about channels in particular. I do have quite a few things to say that I think can be valuable, but I think I don't have enough energy to get into it too rigorously now, so I'll leave it for tomorrow. Talks about Elohim. I experience that sometimes. YouTube comment. Oh, I see what you're saying. If you use the laser protection glasses, are you able to see the patterns? If it's dialed into the exact wavelength of what you're looking at, then no. But if it's a wide range, even if it includes the wavelength that you're looking at, then yes, you will see it even more coherently. So great question. Try and understand your 2D. Here we go. Then 3D is crazy, which we are in. Then try more. It prefers to not. Experience is subjective. So I don't know if you want to wonder, which is a great handle, by the way. I don't understand what this means. Sorry. Try and understand your 2D. Then 3D is crazy. Oh, you're saying if you 2D, then 3D is crazy. That's my point. Isn't that it's complicated to understand higher dimensions? That's not my point. My point is that if you push the actual point, or you ask very specifically what do you mean by a dimension, people that talk about it a lot, about higher dimensions, don't seem to themselves understand what the word dimension actually means. That's my point. They just use it kind of like very loosely. But then why use that word? Just use something else. Because most people, it doesn't sound like Matthias is interested, interested in engaging with what the word dimension actually means, which is degree of freedom, right? And if you're using it in a different context, then there's other words you can use. But something tells me that the second you start using the word quantum too much or dimensions, it's usually more of a psychological trick to try and make people listen than you actually showing any amount of real knowledge of any kind. That's just my point. That's just my take on it. It's not that because it's difficult for me to understand what higher dimensions are. Maybe it's a giant three-dimensional touchscreen. It is what it is. Yeah, I believe that's exactly what it is. So, what's his name? Wow. Donald Hoffman. Donald Hoffman's work is very, very instructive here. Have you personally made any further testing to include multiple persons? If yes, results. I mean, yeah, people do it all the time. I had 15 people in a room all together looking at it. That's the most number of people. Have you ever seen heart head humanoid? No. Uh, can you Bisikin? No, I can't. Hey, bro. I will never let my be Neo find you on live. What's up, bros? I hear you about pushing the point. I cannot myself imagine dimensions I don't know consciously. I was unable to find the Soma podcast you spoke briefly about. So if you just try and Google right now, Lavi, do Soma, Soma. Well, you spelled it correctly. And then the name of the molecule. I cannot name it here because they will flag the chat. So the 3 letters, right? Soma, the 3 letters, simulation. I think it should come up. Let me see. Tell me if that works. No, it does not come up. You're right. It's called. Okay, it's called living in a name of the molecule simulation. Living in a name of the molecule simulation. Soma. Soma living in a name of the molecule simulation. But if you email me, I promise I will just send you the link. No problem at all. Also, tell me how to pronounce your name because I keep like looking at it and it's very beautifully designed, but I don't know how to pronounce it. Experience is just scary AF. What is scary AF? Want to wonder. Also, if you guys want to come on and chat, you're more than welcome to, but then you have to put in a subject for me in the description so I know what we're about to talk about. And if it matches what we're talking about, great. Email lasersimulationx@gmail.com. Lasersimulationx@gmail.com. Explain the laser. I mean, yes, but I think there's plenty of videos like here on TikTok and on YouTube to show you exactly what I mean by that. The short version of that is that if you project a diffracted laser on the surface and ingest the molecule, you will see code running in surfaces. That's really the whole claim. As you age, able to perceive multiple realities, multiple consciousnesses? That's a good question. I think you definitely become more receptive to it because you calm down and you become less bogged down by form and matter. So you get to perceive things that are more subtle. And I do think that then you perceive more of these deeper spaces, yes. Do I watch the Y-Files? No, I don't really watch anything. I haven't had a TV in over 20 years. Actually, that's not true. I did have a couple of TVs for like 5 years, up until 5 years ago. Before that, I didn't have any TVs, and then I had them for 2 years just because I always had Airbnb guests in the house, but I never used them. Not that it really matters, none of this, but I want to be accurate with what I'm saying. I have all the answers to prove this in the digital realm, and why, and with AI we can become absolute. What was your email? I just gave it to you. lasersimulationx@gmail.com. Did you test with other wavelengths? Yes. Did green and blue, and they both worked with extra content. Did you speak on Abraham Hicks earlier? Curious to know your thoughts on channeling messaging generally. No, I haven't spoken in depth. I said I will speak more in depth about it tomorrow. Rose, thank you for the question. Generally, I'm very suspicious of channelers, like in the sense that I don't think that's what's happening. But I'm just one guy, and those are my thoughts. I think we are already the tech. I agree with that. Love you on TT. I am Misty. Hello from Detroit. What's up, Detroit? Like we are gods, we make an AI system to rule as a god. Scaring AF is referring to considering a higher dimensions and what they means on what we already see. Why is it scary? I think it's exciting. Appreciate the suggestion inspired by Ebony Love. Ebony Love. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce the word. Uh, it's not a matter of interesting, not interesting. I just don't watch things. We can use AI to make world through video, sound. Yes. I'm a Bufo facilitator. I want to try your experiment with 5MEO. Well, you let me know if it works. If you can stay sitting upright, that's amazing. You think who are actors? Right now we are on the great misconception and human wants to have creator. Yes. Other perspective of light are the dimensions. Thank you. Inspired by Ebony. How do you keep your mind so clear? I feel like mine is flooded with other people's consciousnesses. Well, if you are very sensitive to other people's energy, then you and fields, then you definitely need to practice of how to create boundaries. Vipassana helps me a lot. So I'm a regular meditator, and that really helps with putting, placing your focus in the right place. But I'll be right now. I'm definitely not exhibiting the best example of that right now. I'm pretty scattered, to be honest. Hi, I do cringe when people start numbering dimensions, when people preach and label this like they know for certain. Yep. I'm interested in hearing more about your interaction process with the console. Thank you, Kyla. Yeah, I'll do all of that tomorrow, and I'll make a mental note to talk more about people who are channeling. I spoke a little bit about Bashar. Again, yeah, let me talk about it tomorrow because I'll be able to make more sense of it. It's not, by the way, it's not to denigrate the enterprise that they're in. It's just that there's so much there that I feel that can be done differently in a way that is still just as beneficial without drifting into pretend land. You know what I mean? What I mean to say is, with practice, are you able to see further into the code or deeper or expand it, alter it in any way? Also, what's your thoughts on the Elohim with a lowercase e? That is awesome. These are very, very deep questions, and I appreciate them. But let's address that tomorrow. He's literally asking me about the God. What is happening with this thing? Come on, man. Just work. Thank you. Perfect. I have all the answers, kinda. It's kind of like that line in Bad Boys 2. You remember when he goes, "My shit always works sometimes." Hi Dan, I know it's complex, but why would the code be visible inside the game? It seems like this would break Gödel's theorem, but I know there is a workaround. Thank you, Neoman, for the question. The short answer is I don't know. I have no idea why it would be visible from the game. And I do think that people who postulate that they understand, like I had some people tell me, like, it's impossible to see the code from the inside of the game. I think, well, listen, you never had a game that we made in which we knew there are conscious agents in there, right? So you don't really know what the interaction between what consciousness is and how it arises in computer software, how it's instantiated, and what would be possible or impossible, coupled with the fact that you don't really know the specifics of how this particular part of the simulation runs. So I don't think it's possible to know that. It's just I know it's possible. And I'm not sure what you mean by if it will break Gödel's theorem. You're talking about the incompleteness theorem? Because the incompleteness theorem is not speaking of computation, it speaks of mathematics. I do agree that it has implications for computation, and I think that the actual deeper point, maybe that's what you meant, is that it's the difference between something that can be computed and something cannot be computed. But specifically, what Gödel really showed, if you're talking about the incompleteness theorem, is that certain things are known to us as conscious agents to be true or false, and yet we can prove that we cannot prove that mathematically. That's what he actually showed. So I'm not sure how seeing the code inside the game would break Gödel's theorem, but I'm open, so feel free to explain that to me. Hi Dan, I came across this in GPT today. Fun. Terence McKenna by John A. Smith. Terence McKenna is a digital form. I think it went over my head, Mishana. Sorry. And I love Terence, but this went over my head. Where you think is running the where you think is running the source code? You mean who? I don't know. I mean, I see them, but I don't know how to answer who they are. Also, have my laser on my on and my vape. What could be doing? Wait, do you have both of them and you can't see it? Is that what you're saying? Know thyself is exactly right, Lawrence Productions. The chatbot based solely on McKenna's lectures. Oh, yeah. I've seen that one. That is a great one. Source code is run by. Whoa, yeah, I think it's time to sleep. The source code is run by an AI entity that exists very long. See work. George Cavalli says question, and the code is written down. Can you the code and asks. Okay. Hey JH, what time tomorrow? Usually there's a thank you JH and welcome to the community. I'm always happy to have new people. Usually there was a regular time, which is 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Well, regular-ish. But now, because I'm traveling and shooting, it became a little bit of a mess. Hopefully, from the 21st, I'll start going back to regular times at about 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Hope to see you there. And yeah, I'll be a lot more engaging, coherent, clear, and friendly. Because right now I'm a little prickly and I'm aware of that. So apologies to everyone. Let's take a couple more questions from TikTok and then we'll adjourn. Want to log into I'm curious how the code can be manipulated. Yeah, a lot of people think that Lovey. Again, email me. I'll send you all the stuff that you asked for, including the Soma podcast. I think that right now what we want to do is to study the behavior of the code versus decoding it at the moment. I should do that more. It's great advice. Let's see what we got here. Your feet on the grass. Yeah, that's it. I love doing that. Thank you. Marco is saying, I mean, Bashar started off as an actor before he picked up his Bashar gig. How do I center myself? Meditation, Vipassana. That's usually how I center myself. Okay. Made by the human mind as a computer. Okay, these are all statements. I can't really comment on these because thank you, Lovey. So quick announcement before I will adjourn. Across platforms, if you can give the lives a like or a love, it definitely helps the algorithm. TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, and X. Appreciate you all. You can follow me across platforms. TikTok, it's Danny Goller. Instagram is Danny Goller. X is Goller Danny. Twitch is LaserX83. And YouTube is Dango Thoughts. Thank you so much, Lavi. And One Wonder. Appreciate you guys. Oh, this is so nice of you. Appreciate you. On YouTube, it's DANGO Thoughts. Yeah, I will be here again tomorrow. I promise. Anybody who emailed me, I will very quickly, after the 21st, I'm going to start answering everybody quickly. Any specific questions. And then, if you do feel inclined, please sign up to the membership program on YouTube. I promise that very quickly it will become something that people really enjoy, because I'm one of the most important things to me is to give value, and I know I'll be on that. So deeply appreciate your gifts. Wow, you guys are amazing. And let's see, there was one more here about, we'll leave you with that. How do you learn to speak the source? I would say just connect with the present moment. I know it sounds trite and overdone and overexpressed, but it is true. If you can connect with your breath in that moment, anything that happens right now, this second, is exactly what source is doing. So if you can connect to that, you can connect to source, which essentially in the end, of course, is you. And it's not a platitude, it is the truth. And do I think class manipulating the code? Let's talk about that tomorrow. We're going to talk about channelers, people who manipulate the code, and maybe we'll talk about the difference between good and evil a little bit more. So, all that being said, guys, I deeply appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. Peace and love. See you tomorrow. Ciao. And thank you so much, Mishanaha. You guys are so sweet. Nomad. Do you have any other theories regarding the forces that might interact with the code besides the magnetic force? Yes, but I also think that very soon I'm going to be able to prove some of these things, both with magnetic fields and other things. Yeah, we will stay tuned. It's going to be a fun next few months. Peace and love, guys. Ciao. See you tomorrow.